Invincible Season 3 Episode 7 is not only the best episode of the season thus far, but it might be the best episode of the show's entire run. But before we get into it, if you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button, drop a like and comment on the video, and if you're able, please sign up for channel memberships for exclusive content, which really helps us out. Anyway, let's get back to the action. So, the story of Invincible Season 3 so far has been relatively unfocused but no less promising, be it the exploration of the moral arguments between Mark and Cecil, the raising of Oliver into a superhero he can be proud of, the development of the show's other characters and relationships, or the preparation for the looming Viltrumite threat. Season 3's reviews have proven this more varied storyline to be suitably compelling. As hinted at by Episode 6's other Invincible variants, these storylines were set to come to a head in a huge way. Episode 7 provides exactly this culmination, paying off the last 6 episodes worth of moral themes, supporting character build-up, and teases of returning villains. In what could be the darkest episode of Invincible yet, I couldn't tear my eyes away from the screen as the comic's now iconic Invincible War came to life as Mark, his various allies and tentative enemies came together to face an old enemy and himself. I was left curious whether Invincible would adapt the Invincible War as a single episode, a 2-episode event, or potentially carry it over into Season 4. As it turns out, the Invincible War was contained solely to Episode 7, but this didn't stop the episode from being an excellent, perfectly structured, epic in-scale story that will go down as one of the show's very best. The episode's 3-arc structure split between each day of the Invincible War was suitably chilling, giving the episode a distinct feeling of dread in comparison to its predecessors. Moreover, the scale was simply unlike anything highlighted in Invincible thus far. While planetary coalitions and the deadly galactic empire have been teased, Invincible has mostly kept things contained to Mark's life in Chicago with only a few exceptions. Episode 7 takes proceedings to a worldwide scale, destroying cities like New York, London, Tokyo, Paris, and Moscow to name only a handful at the hands of Mark's evil Invincible variants. This only increased the aforementioned feeling of dread, though it made the episode one I couldn't praise more. Speaking of Mark's Invincible variants, I was happy with how most of them were depicted. Of course, some were utilised as mere obstacles for the plot to move forward with little development, allowing lesser-known heroes of Invincible's universe to get their moments in the spotlight. However, the subtle teases of others, from one who killed Debbie in his universe to another who was promised a reunion with her, only made Invincible's somewhat unique exploration of the multiverse even better. The destruction and battles Invincible's variants took part in elicited the same sickly feeling as Mark vs. Omni-Man from Season 1's ending, though one that provides undeniably great television. The superb shots of the various Marks flying above ruined cities with fires burning in their eyes were excellently harrowing, allowing for a rare moment of artistry that Invincible's animators do not get to flex all that often. Then there is the perspective they bring, with us audience members and Invincible civilians counting their lucky stars that our Mark didn't end up like his brethren. As I alluded to, the Invincible War proved the perfect way to culminate many character arcs from the last 6 episodes. Every hero on Earth was called into action here, from Invincible's Guardians of the Globe to retired warriors, the GDA and its resources, and even some villains like Powerplex. In my review for Invincible Season 3 Episode 6, I remarked I was worried about Rex's future, and I was proven right to be, so thanks to his heroic sacrifice that truly solidified his change in the most devastating way. Although not every battle between the heroes and the villainous Marks was shown, just seeing the aftermath often proved more effective and sold the true feeling of chaos that Angstrom Levy unleashed upon Earth. Oliver also got some good moments here, including a tear-inducing one from which he says goodbye to Debbie before going off to fight. The tandem fight scenes in some moments were excellent too, though I will say I'm still disappointed the depiction of Atom Eve's powers remained boring after the dynamism showcased in 2023's Invincible Atom Eve. The exploration of morality came to a head too. Mark's seeming willingness to kill to prevent something worse at the end of the episode, even if he hasn't gone through with it yet, indicates a shift in his character that could lead him down a different path in Invincible Season 4's story. After seeing how differences in morality can affect the entire world, Mark and Cecil will likely have a fragile alliance going forward, paying off the season's central dynamic. After all of that, episode 7 brought the story to a conclusion with yet another threat to Earth: the arrival of Conquest. Conquest was first teased by Anissa last season, with the villain finally arriving amid the cleanup of Angstrom Levy's chaos. This couldn't have come at a worse time, but whether that proves to be the case for a reeling Mark who must face yet another threat, or Conquest who must face a grief-stricken, rageful Mark, is left for the finale. Knowing Conquest's arrival is another turning point for Mark going into the Invincible Season 4, I cannot wait to see how their fight plays out in the finale. The battle sequences of Invincible have always contained the show's strongest animated moments, with episode 7 proving as much. Now that another major fight is set for next week, I'm hoping this can continue. With Jeffrey Dean Morgan providing the voice of the violence-loving Conquest, episode 7 capped off one of the show's best episodes with the promise of another.